you hear me okay? Boost the volume just a little bit. Hopefully, get that going a bit higher. It's a little hard to guess where the volume for the game's going to be at. Definitely going to need to nerf the sound of the game a little bit. Okay, tried boosting the sound a little. Well, I think I boosted it a little too much. Knock it back down a bit. Probably around right there, maybe? A little lower stuff. I think that might be good. Here, turn down the thing. It's just not as loud as the background. If you can hear me now, Jacob, or Green Knight, I'm sure you can already see that there's quite a bit more settings that you can adjust on here than you can on the Xbox version. Are you having difficulty hearing what I'm saying still? I'm surprised that's how this computer's going right now. I thought it would just be me and my friend. Hello? You over there? Gonna try to be a bit vocal on when I'm doing this during this game, so I can try to teach my friend a bit, try to get him into this. Are you still having any difficulty hearing me at all, Jacob, or is it okay still? Okay. So, I was both wrong and right earlier when I told you about how there's more people or more players that could play on the PC version. I was right when I initially said it could be up to 4v4. I got a little confused and said 3v3 from there on out, but it is up to 4v4, or you could have 8 players free for all if you want. But in my opinion, this is still the biggest map, just because it's extremely long. Beyond that, as for like the settings and stuff that I was telling you about, you still have Assassination Supremacy Community War. With this one, you can do fixed or random spawn positions, and I don't think that was an option when I was showing you the Xbox version. With random, it means all the players will spawn in random spots until they meet potential, in this instance, 8 potential spawn locations. Uh, I've only ever done fixed just because I find the thought of potentially having the hard AI spawn right next to me and then my teammates will spawn across the map sort of unappealing. Uh, then you can also adjust the fog of war. You can make it to where you can just see the terrain, or you can make it to where you have full visibility. You don't have to worry about using like radars or anything. You're always able to see exactly what the enemy units are and everything. There's no fog of war. Just everything's possible. You can also adjust the game speed. I usually don't touch it. I just finish. But then here's that explosions area that I was telling you about with where you can turn off nukes if you want, so there's no nukes. You can do no mass conversion, which mass conversion is with each faction, once you use enough resource points, you can unlock a uh, item or a research thing that allows you to convert some of your electricity into mass. If you click this, that it'll obviously turn that off. But it's basically a late game way to quickly turn a lot of energy into a decent amount of mass. Usually, it's quite a lot of energy you have to spend though. You don't get a lot in return. You just sort of get decent amount, not too great. You can also do stuff like turn off certain unit types, like air, land, or naval. You can turn off experimentals so that no one can build them. You can do no shield structures, so those shield towers that I was showing you. You can have it to where none of them can be spawned in. You can do no intel structures, which is radars and stuff. Meaning the only way for you to find where enemy units are at that point is to physically move close to them, or close enough for your units to see them on their individual radars. You can do no artillery structures, which obviously with that one UEF I was facing, that would, in that instance, despite them being in turtle class or turtle difficulty, ironically I don't think it would have affected them much because they focus just on the games, not the artillery. You can do no structure add-ons, so those little upgrades that I was doing where I added like cannons and shields and stuff to the factories, those are the structure add-ons. You can have them turned off. So factories are just factories. They can't help with defense or anything like that. Uh, you can turn off research and have it to where automatically all the units that you can unlock are just immediately unlocked when you start. do no research, the one below it. This one makes it where all units and all research upgrades are just automatically completed. So for instance, if you turn this on, you would immediately have access to every experimental unit. You would even have immediate access to nukes potentially, which can be a little interesting. I've done it before. It's sort of funny immediately having nukes and just immediately start building nuke silos. Although the AI can honestly start doing that too, but it's not fun then. You can also do slow research, which makes it where no one can build those research labs that I was trying to build, so I can start building the anti-nukes that one game. You can also turn on DLC units. So there was like one or two things of DLC for this game. I don't think you were able to get them on the Xbox version, because I never saw the option online. I also never looked for it, so possible. But anyways, um, if you have the DLC, but you want to play more vanilla game without any of the DLC units, you can click on this to turn that off. I turned down the game volume quite a bit for you. I'll turn up the. Uh, Let me know if this is any better for you now. If this is better for you, just go ahead and send me a text. Okay, I can turn it down a little bit lower. Here, one sec. Come in. Any allergy pills? Yeah. I'm trying to stream right now, though. Not that anyone's watching. Were you streaming? Sorry. No, you're good. I'm just trying to stream this so that Jacob can potentially start playing this game with me. Try to teach him how to play it. I thought I offered you a smell to feel really. No. Is that really allergy pills? Yeah. Oh shit. Enjoy yourself. Thanks, that was right. Okay, give me just a moment. Brandon just came in. He just needs some allergy pills. His allergies have been going absolutely crazy all day. Oh, I had voice volume down quite a bit because in the on the soundboard in my in the OBS, it's showing that every time I talk, it's already going like red line, potentially going extremely loud for people. If it's really that quiet, I can turn it up some more. Are you sure you just don't have your uh, tablet super quiet or something? Is this any better? Or, well, it looks like there's probably about a 20 or 30-second delay. Uh, Let me know as of this moment if it's loud enough. I can try to boost my audio even more. Uh, Part of the reason I'm concerned too is if I turn up the audio too much, it'll start to make the background static of the fan noticeable. I did turn down the fan though. Uh, Hopefully that'll help. Need some grape juice. Is this any better now? Here, I'll nerf the audio even more. Or I mean for the game. I boosted the audio massively. We'll see how that works out. Ju- Just take a look. Hmm. Hopefully it works out good. Can you hear me still? I don't understand why it's so quiet. Because when I'm listening to it through OBS here, it's freaking screaming, even with me just barely talking. The voice is good now? Huh. Is this any better? I, What about now? Is this any better now? Like, I'm starting to get to a point where um, it's starting to try to cause feedback loops between my monitor. Hear me still? Can you still hear me at all? Hmm. It's starting to try to cause feedback loops between my monitor. Okay. Okay, I think it's starting to try to cause feedback. Good. Okay. Hmm. Let me know if you're still able to hear like the game and stuff too. You're still able to hear like the game and stuff. Okay. So I'll go over all the stuff real quick again that I was going over earlier, just so that you can get a feeling for, or so you can actually hear it this time. Okay. So I'll go over all the stuff real quick again. So let's see. Starting with the teams and everything, the biggest maps can have up to 8 teams in total, or 4v4. You could even do 2v2, v2, v2, or however you want to break up the 8 teams or 8 players. Of course, there's smaller maps. There's some where they're just barely big enough for a 1v1. You're like literally next door neighbors with the one other person. Let's see. So for PC versus console, differences in settings. Victory condition setting is still the same, so just the three modes. There is a new setting for spawn positions. Normally, you get to choose physically which person spawns where within the circles, and you can even have some of the circles empty if you don't want to fill up all of the slots. But in the PC version, you can choose to do random, which means out of all the spots, everyone will be placed random. I don't like it personally, just because I've had times where it'll random, and I've had my only teammate across the map, and then all the enemy AI are like right against me, and because I like to play the long game, that sort of did not work out for me. There's of course the rush timer again. Um, there's now a setting for the fog of war. So the fog of war is like where you can see the terrain, you can see the map, but if the enemies are beyond your radar and visual ranges, then you just can't see what's going on. If you can, but with this setting, you can turn that off to where no matter where the enemy is or what they're doing, you can always see them, but they can also always see you. And the AI will use that to their advantage just as much as you will. You can also adjust the game speed. I've never really messed with it, so I'm not really too sure on if it's worth messing with or not. But then here's the exclusions tab I was telling you about as well earlier. From here, you can turn off, let's say, experimentals, so no one can make experimental structures or experimental units. You can turn off air units, so no one can make air units at all. You can't even make like carriers to carry your ground units. Just no air units whatsoever. You can turn off land units too, naval units. You can turn off mass conversion. Mass conversion is a technology that you usually unlock sort of halfway through the text screen for the buildables for each faction. What it does is it'll unlock an ability. I think for Illuminate and UEF, you have to build a specific structure to do it. But with Cybran, you just have to go to the energy buildings. And what it does is it takes, at the cost of a lot of energy, it'll make a little bit of mass for you. So what you would normally do is when you have a lot of mass in the late game or the middle game, you'll build up a bunch of those buildings or select a bunch of energy depots if you're playing Cybran, and you'll fire off that ability among all of them, and it'll drain a ton of your energy, but gives you a decent chunk of mass in return. The reason you would want to use this is because obviously mass, no matter how many sites you build or how across the map, it's always going to be slower to build mass than it is to build energy, simply because you can build way more energy spots since they're not limited. You can also, of course, turn off nukes if you want. You can turn off the shield structures, so those shield towers I was telling you about, you can make it to where no one can build them. You can turn off the radar stations, so that the only way to see what the enemy is doing in the fog of war is by physically having your units go up to where they are. You can turn off artillery structures. You can turn off structure add-ons. Structure add-ons, I think, exclusively goes to the factories, because the factories allow you to build like the artillery cannons and like the anti-air cannons and the small shields. Those are all structure add-ons. They're essentially just extensions of the structure, just smaller versions of other structures that aren't as strong, but they definitely add in a little bit of support. You are able to turn that off with the setting, of course. The next setting is no research, meaning what it does is all of the units that you can unlock for your faction are just immediately unlocked from the start of the game. You don't have to research or run anything. You just immediately have access. The next one down, no research, all research, and all and units unlocked, is exactly what it says. It unlocks all research items immediately at the start of the game. That's everything from like the small little like movement and health buffs, all the way to immediately having access to nukes and stuff. You can also do slow research, which is just below that. All it does is it makes it to where no one can build the research stations, meaning the way you get research in this game, for background, just sitting there doing nothing will slowly build a little bit of research over time. I think getting kills and like actually doing stuff will add a little bit of speed to it, but I'm not sure. But then you can also build research stations, which will just add a flat increased amount to the research speed. So like let's say for each research point you need 100 points or 100 research to be done. And let's say like the base speed is 5 research per second. The research stations, each individual one probably has like another 5 or 10 research per second. So you get a bunch of them and you just start getting research points like every second or two rather than like every 30 seconds. By turning off the stations, though, obviously it slows that down dramatically. It means you can't bum rush the late technologies, you have to take your time. And then also there's the no DLC units option. If you turn that off, basically, if you own the DLC like I do on PC version, the no DLC one will basically turn the game back to the vanilla mode where it's just the basic units and everything. From there, there's the AI difficulties. So again, it's a little bit different than it is on console. On console, there was easy, normal, hard, and cheating. And then for normal, hard, and cheating, there was a turtle variant of each. However, on PC, there's easy for cheating, but then there's custom. Now, all easy difficulty does is it makes it to where AIs build 25% slower, and they get 30% less resources than you do. Normal makes it to where they're on par with you. Hard will increase their speed or build speed by 50%. It'll increase their resource income by 20 or 65%, and then increase the unit veterancy bonus by 25%, meaning their units will get those veterancy bonuses much quicker, like I was talking about earlier today. Cheating is just ridiculous. Build speed is 90% faster, meaning they build pretty much half the time. Let's say something would normally take 30 seconds to build, it's going to take about 16 or 17 seconds instead. It's ridiculous. It also doubles their resource income, meaning they get a ton of resources. They're going to be able to build twice as big of an army in the same amount of time. And then they also get much more veterancy toward their units, meaning their units get basically their upgrades from just surviving much quicker. Also, differences is on cheating mode, the AIs get full map visibility, meaning they have no fog of war, even if you do. All the other difficulties, they still have fog of war like you do, unless you turn that off for the whole match. Beyond that, there's also other settings. There's AI types. Now, on console, you could just choose between the standard, which was random, or turtle. But on PC, you can choose random, which will choose any one of these. You can do air focus, meaning they will focus on exclusively building air units, like bombers, experimental airships, and stuff. You can do balanced, which means they're going to try to do a little bit of everything. They're not going to focus on one thing, they're going to focus on everything. You can do land, same as the air, but for land. Naval, again, same. You can put them to rush, which means their goal is going to be to build as many units as quick as possible, and just immediately, as soon as the game starts, send them right at you to basically push you immediately in the beginning. So you have to start building your stuff much quicker. Basically, it's similar to putting a timer on the game, But instead of putting a standard timer that just ends the game, this timer now just shoots you until you die, unless you build up your defenses very quick. And of course, like I said earlier, there's the turtle version, which just means that the AI are going to try to focus on building up their base, making it impenetrable more than they're going to try to actually outright attack you. Their attacks are going to be from their artillery shooting at you from across the map or with their nukes. For this, what I'm going to end up doing for this match is I'm going to put my AI teammate that spawns right in front of me. I'm going to put him on easy difficulty so he makes stuff a bit slower. But he's also going to be air focused, meaning he's going to try to focus on just making air units. I'm basically going to use him as free scouting on the other side. I can also change his target preferences. I can make him either go after whoever the game considers the strongest enemy, or I can have him try to go after whoever is considered to be the weakest enemy. So in other words, let's say if I set it to strongest enemy, and let's say I nuke one of the enemies, and then the other one's just fine, my teammate will try to attack the one that's just fine before even considering attacking the weak one. Where if I put it cold weakest, it means if I nuke someone, and let's say, just again for example, my teammate is going to try to go out of their way to specifically end that one before they can start building up again. Basically, it changes a little bit of how ruthless the enemy are, or the AI are. Because if you put it to cold the weakest, if you're even for a moment considered to be slightly weak or weaker than everyone else, all of the enemy AI will just look at you and you'll die. In this instance, because I don't want my teammate to just solo the enemies for me, I just want them to sort of slow them down a little. I'm going to have them engage the strongest, because I want them to sort of slow down the strongest person on the enemy team and not focus on just outright killing one of them. From there, I'll add in a couple more. I'll adjust the settings in a moment, just adding them in real quick. So something I'm going to do just sort of show you like how it looks when there's more than just two teams. I'm going to do this. So I have the easy AI on my team. Then I'm going to have red and purple represent, let's see. One second, I have to switch that color before I can switch this one. I'm going to have red and purple represent team number 2, or the 2 members of team 2. And then this one is going to be, I'll mark them with the brown. They'll be team number 3. So team number 3, will only have one person on their team. I'm going to have them focus, again, on the strongest enemy. And then I'm going to have them focus on turtling. I'm going to have them focus on just trying to build defenses quick. I'm also going to make them a little bit stronger since they're just going to be basically right in the middle of everything. Just to make it interesting. So they don't just immediately get killed. They have a little bit of a fighting chance. So they're going to build 35% faster. They're also going to get 10% more resources. I'll make that 15 actually. Then the other enemy team, those two, I'll have one of them make units at a normal rate, and then the other one I'll have them earn resources at a normal rate. Just to sort of keep them on par with me. Uh, the goal is to sort of create a sort of multi-front battle over here where they're just sort of balanced out with each other. They're all that way. By the time I get my stuff built up, I can sort of go in there and join in on the craziness. Because if I make any one of them too weak, uh, that one will just get killed long before I get any of my units over there. But yeah, so this is what it's going to look like. In this instance, I do have the turtle AI still, but I have them like in the middle of the others, so they're going to have some difficulty. So I'm not going to worry about turning off the nukes this time, because I would like you to see what it's like to have nukes on your team. So what I'll do is I'll have the other two AI go as random, and then I'll have them both focus on cooling the weakest. Make it interesting a little bit more. So let's see from here. That's how it's going to be set. I'll go ahead and get this started real quick. Get this going before I get too tired. Okay. I'm going to pause it right away to give me a moment. Obviously, if me, you, and Sam are all playing together, we can't pause it. Let's see. So also on PC, instead of opening up, like clicking on the A or clicking on your units and then having to click a certain button to open up the menu, on PC the menu is just automatically always open at the bottom. So once you click on a unit, it's just automatically there and you can flip between the pages super easy. From here, I would recommend take one of your engineers, have them focus on building the 4 main structures for you, or the 4 main mass extractors for you. And then from there, I'll usually have them focus, once they're done with that, I'll have them focus on building some of the energy buildings, or some of the resource or energy buildings. Yeah. I'll take the other one, or the other engineer, and I'll have them run around, grab up as many of the nearby resource deposits as possible. So my AI teammate is obviously going to grab some of them. I can't block him from getting all of them. As much as I would prefer to have them myself, I will not be able to block him from doing that. So real quick, let me restart that, because I want to do this pathing a little bit different in this instance. I want to have my unit go down there before going back up here to grab these, so it doesn't have to backtrack. And then after that, they'll run around here, grab all of these. And then once they're fully done with everything, I'll have them run all the way back to there. So they'll come back to there. And then my commander, I'll have them immediately focus on building some of the energy silos, or the energy depots or whatever. Was their energy generators? That's it. Obviously, my first engineer is already going to be focusing on this some, but you want to have as many energy silo or energy generators as you can, because obviously, and if you don't have energy en masse, you can't build stuff. And since energy is the easier one to get a lot of, you might as well build a bunch of them right off the bat. Again, because I sort of build slower, I like to build up my resources before actually doing everything else. So I sort of do it a little bit backwards. It's smarter to sort of spread your resources out, try to build some defenses along with the resources, but I usually heavily go into the resources before doing defenses. Like, I'll have my commander do some of these, then once they're done with those, then they'll actually start building some of my other stuff for me. I'll have them build, actually, instead of having them do the gantries over there, or the air factories, I'll have them do them right here. I'll do I'll do 4, just so I can build air units pretty quickly once it gets around to it. Because with how huge this map is, air units are generally a good way to go. But yeah, I'll do that. After they're done building those, I'll have them build some research stations. Again, I'm very much into the whole try to make it as symmetrical as I can. You don't have to. Obviously, you can place these wherever you fucking want. Generally, having stuff spread out is going to be stronger at surviving, like, nukes and like, artillery and stuff. Because, obviously, if a nuke lands, it'll just take out pretty much everything at once. Meanwhile, if I had stuff spread out, it won't take out as much. It's also, having stuff spread out is also stronger against artillery, because you can tell artillery to shoot one single building from way far away. The thing is, though, artillery is innately a bit inaccurate in the game, so you might tell it to shoot right here, but those individual rounds from that single artillery piece could probably land anywhere within a huge circle around it, meaning having a bunch of structures all tangled together, if the AI or if a player tells the artillery to shoot at the structure at the middle, even if a shot misses that middle structure, it's very likely then to hit one of the surrounding ones and do damage that way. But yeah, but again, if I had all my structures really spread out, then I wouldn't have to worry about artillery as much, because when they miss, they're likely to genuinely fully miss. Meanwhile, with the way I build everything collected together, a miss from an artillery is still likely to hit something, unfortunately. But I'm willing to live with that risk, because I just really enjoy, like, building these layouts. I will also say that map I was playing earlier today to show you, or was it last night? I think it was actually that I was showing you. On that one, the resource silos or the mass extractors were all perfectly spaced apart. Most maps, they're all randomly like the starter base spots, as I would call them, because realistically you can have your base anywhere you want. There's just like starting zones. They tend to put the resource or the mass extractors oddly placed or oddly distanced, so you can't make a perfectly symmetrical like grid. Another thing I will add, by building my structures all super tight close together like this, it makes it much harder for my units to move around, because units can't go through buildings, or at the very least the game tries to avoid it. So by making just a giant wall of buildings, my units either have to go around, or if God forbid I build structures in front and it's ground units, they may even get fully stuck. Let's see. I'll have both of them send units over to there. I'll have both make a couple engineers each. Just gotta wait for my mass to catch up now because I queued up so many structures so quick. My units are gonna get a little bit stuck and hung up on the fact that there's not enough mass. So you'll, even though stuff is queued up, you'll see them just stand there waiting to actually do something. Also, you can see my AI teammate over here that I told to focus on air units. They already have 2 air pieces built, and they're already sending a couple planes around just to double check on the enemy. This one is already building some stuff too. They have a land factory and an air factory. Uh, their ships here, or their bombers, did take out a structure right here that was likely just starting to get built, because 2 bombers generally isn't going to be enough to take out a structure on their own without getting shot down. But obviously, if a building is in the middle of getting constructed, it's not going to have its full health, so it's going to be very easy to just destroy it immediately, which is what happened there. And there goes their scout ship. Uh, the things that were shooting at them were the anti-air turrets that I put on my air factories here. Again, the add-ons are not going to be nearly as strong as the original versions. So, anti-air towers, actual anti-air towers, are going to be much stronger than the ones that are built as add-ons. And same thing for like shields and stuff. So because they're building a lot of air stuff, because of how the map is, and also because of how I set them up, I'm going to have some of my units work on building some anti-air towers now. Just get that started. Don't want to fall behind on that. I'm doing, eventually I'll have a full line in front of this, but I'm going to have them start out like this just to give a little bit more coverage. You'll also notice when you build like a defensive structure, there'll be a red ring around it, and then there'll be blue rings and stuff. Red rings is the distance that a structure or a unit can fire. Light blue or dark blue range is their visual range, so the distance at which they can identify what a structure or unit is. Light blue is the radar range, so that's the distance at which they can notice something but not identify what it is. Also, when you're playing on PC, you'll have this tab over here. This will let you quick select your ACU, which is your commander. It'll also let you quick select to any idle engineers that aren't doing anything. So right now, I'm going to have one of my engineers go a little bit forward here over next to my teammates' mass extractor and have them build uh, a radar station so that even if my teammate doesn't have units actively going over here, I will at least be able to see when they have ships fly over. Let's see. From there, oh yeah, this is that detonate thing I was telling you about. Uh, if there's like a bunch of enemies really close to one of your buildings and you know it's going to die, if you have this ability unlocked, you can just or I won't say that word on stream. You can have a building blow up some charges inside of it. That'll destroy the building immediately, but it will do damage to any nearby enemies. You can do this, which will make your defensive towers shoot much faster, or quite a bit faster. Then you have like the nuke defense silo, which is also, let's see. Oh yeah, there's this too. I haven't used it. It's one of the DLC pieces, but it's a nuke redirector. I don't know exactly how it works. I assume that it works a lot like the nuke defense silo, but instead of blowing up the nuke, I imagine it makes the game send the nuke back to where it came from, if I'm guessing. At least that's what I would think. If so, obviously that'd be really freaking good. Let's see. Oh yeah, then there's this. This makes it to where if you use like a long-range artillery piece, anywhere where artillery rounds land, it'll give a little bit of sight around it. So let's say I just build some artillery towers here and tell them to blindly shoot right at the edge of their range. Let's say right here is the edge. And let's say I can't normally see over here because I'm too far away and I don't have structures or units nearby. I can have my artillery piece just randomly shoot over there. And then when the artillery piece or shells land, I'll get a momentary sight of a small area around it to see if there's enemy units there. If so, I can then explicitly target those enemy units rather than just randomly firing. But if I don't see them, I can tell it my artillery piece to fire at a new area and just keep checking around. Use it as a cheap means of spying out at a distance without actually risking any resources or anything. It's not often for you to see the AI actually have their ships or their planes fly way out to the sides like this. Usually they prefer to sort of sit roughly within this circle here. Like, they'll go a little off to the side, but they don't usually go way off and attack way from the side. So it's a little odd for my teammate to be doing. It's a little out of character for the AI. Oh yeah, these bits that you see in the air, the little yellow dots with the purple and red streaks, those are the artillery pieces from this, or the missiles coming from it. So, basically, I think when they're in the red mode, they'll continue to fire toward wherever the tower chose to shoot at. But when they switch to the purple mode, I think it means that they're able to change direction a little bit and try to find nearby targets to switch to. I'm not sure, but I would assume that's what it means. But yeah, and then also, nope. Okay. Before I get into that, this is an example of the gunship. It'll just hover over and just machine gun down. Now over to this. Technically, I made this one stronger than these two by a good bit, but because it was being pressured on three fronts, their commander is already dead. You'll also see here, there's these buildings here that still have a light color to them, and then these dark ones. These dark ones are actually blown up and destroyed, but because I can't physically see them with a radar or just physically see them, the game will still show that they were there until I go close enough to confirm they're not there anymore. So this AI is severely hampered now. They could still come back, but they're going to struggle. From here, I'm going to make this AI, I'm going to have them reclaim these two structures from this dude, because I don't like that the AI took a bunch of the resource nodes for themselves when I was trying to take them. I'm going to have them do the same over here. Basically, I'm having them destroy my teammates' resource nodes, steal the resources they use to build them, and then I'm going to use that to build my own in its place. Do that so I can get my building going off quicker. Oh, so this one is fully dead now. So if you hit F2 when you're playing on PC, or the F2 button, it'll bring up this roster here. This is basically the score sheet. The contact is fully out of the game, so it shows the red X, or the red cancel sign. That means they are no longer in the game, they are dead. Just straight up dead. The bars here are the game telling you roughly what position each one is in. Like me and my team are way low on the list. Like technically speaking, especially if you look at their base versus like our bases, the enemies are technically well ahead of us in there. But yeah. But if everything goes as planned, that won't really matter a whole lot to me. Because I will catch right up. Now from here, you'll notice I'm leaving essentially a 4x4 grid open right here. I'm doing that so that I can add in energy tower or energy shields once I unlock them, which should be now. This will allow me to build the shields there to help keep those structures safe while they're firing. Because obviously, yeah, if any bombers or any ground units make it up close, I want to try to keep these towers from dying for as long as possible. Obviously, the longer that the towers are alive, the more damage they can do, the more units they can kill. Okay, so here's the mass conversion. So I currently have roughly 13,000 mass area. Let's see. Okay, so I think with the DLC, they made it to where uh, you. I think all factions now have to build the mass conversion thing, and I think they also made it to where all factions, because it used to be the Cybran had a nuke and uh, a nuke and anti-nuke defense silo all wrapped up in one. But I think with the DLC, they made it to where they're individual structures now. Because I think they thought that I think they went back and decided that them joining the two together was too strong. I don't think it was really, but whatever. But yeah, so I'm gonna have my ACU build those there, so I can start converting this large amount of energy into mass. You'll also see now, if I pause the game, my dude is trying to forcibly send engineers along to build mass extractors to try to buff the mass that they're getting. Because obviously, the more mass they have, the more stuff they can do. So the AI tend to get a little ballsy when it comes to sending out lone engineers to try to capture random resource nodes that are just way out far away from everything. They get a little crazy about trying to do that. But yeah, you'll see the enemy AI are sending a bunch of ground units over here, and they're attacking my teammate's base. My teammate is not very well set for it, so they're gonna lose at least a couple structures, but they're definitely gonna fight them off before too much happens. Partially because their front structure is factory, and factories tend to have a bit more health, or a decent amount. Factories and mass extractors tend to have a lot of health, so it'll slow down the enemies a bit, give them a little bit of time. But the fact that they're sending land units means that I now need to start focusing on building land defense towers so that I can actually defend myself too, because right now I only have anti-air, meaning if those ground units get over here, I have basically no defense at the moment. So I'm going to start building a bunch of them right here in the front of this. Eventually, once I get to a certain point, I'm probably going to destruct all of these defense towers and move them forward. I'm essentially going to make a new line of them that's further forward to sort of push back a little bit more at the enemy. And then once I have that set up, I'll destroy most of the towers back here so I can get those unit slots opened up again so I can start building other stuff instead. But I'll still keep a few of them here and there just on the off chance that, let's say I build the wall along right here and the AI go way over here and go around. I'll still have a few towers mixed in just in case to make sure that they don't just go around. So right now I'm going to build as quickly as I can, 20 bombers, or make that 40, 10 from each. Try to build a bit of them so when they take out my partner right here, I can try to push them back actively. I'll also start building artillery. Yeah, there goes my teammate's ACU commander. I'll build the artillery pieces in the back. Generally, I either build them way up front alongside my wall of turrets so that my artillery unit or pieces get as far reach as possible, or I'll build them way in the back and then have them focus on choke points and have all of them just endlessly fire at a single choke point like this bridge. So I'll have like 30 artillery units, all or artillery structures, all firing at just one spot on this, so that it's physically impossible for them to get the army through. Because the second they walk past this area, they're just going to start getting blown up left, right, and center because the second they go near it, there's already explosions going off, and those explosions just basically never end. There'll be brief moments in between where maybe one or two units will get by, but with how much damage artillery units do, most ground units will die from just like one hit. Because was it? Usually the weak point of long-range artillery is the fact that the rounds take so long to get there that by the time they hit the ground, if they were aiming at a land unit, that land unit is miles away. But by having a choke point and just telling my artillery pieces to just constantly fire at it, that negates the one weakness of the artillery, because instead of waiting for the enemy to be there, then to shoot at them and then have them walk away, instead they're already shooting at that spot before they even get there. Which was it? That one weakness is the reason why artillery does so much damage to ground units, because normally artillery is just going to miss the ground units, so they have it to where on the rare chance they do hit, it just does a ton of damage and knocks those units out. So, but because I make it to where it's basically guaranteed it's going to hit, it makes them much stronger. But yeah. Let's see. There, let me unpause it. At one point, I'm going to build the magnetrons too, so you can see what they look like. They're pretty fun to use. But yeah, it's a good thing I'm getting some of these structures sort of built up, because they are just running through all of this. Yeah, they just ran through my teammate's base. I will have them focus on this one, because that is their anti-air unit. It's pretty much the only thing that can shoot at my bombers. So if I get rid of it, their ground units can't do anything to try to stop my bombers from taking them out. I'm also going to kill their engineer here, because their engineer will start building structures, but it'll also heal their ground units. So I don't want their engineers around, because they can potentially undo all the damage that I'm doing. Yeah, they're sending a lot of ground units all at once. I'm going to do some more of those upgrades. Yeah, those ground turrets are just decimating the ground units, obviously. I'm going to start having my artillery exclusively shoot in just the one spot. They're not going to help with this. I'm just going to have them focus on blocking the enemy from having more ground units coming behind these ones. Try to cut off the flow, so to speak. I do need to start building anti-nuke silos, because the fact that I have them unlocked means they're probably going to have nuke silos of their own very soon. So I need to start getting them built so that I don't have to worry about them nuking me. I'm going to build one at the back of my base there, and then one at the front. By doing this, it means that within a circle. Let me see. I think it's within the red circle that the anti-nukes will fire. So if a nuclear missile is going to land anywhere within this red circle, it'll get shot down. So long as I have an anti-nuke in the silo. Same thing over here. Even if let's say something was going to land over here, but I have the anti-nuke silo here, if the missile goes along here and tries to land over here, but I have the silo along its path, it'll still shoot it down, even though the missile would have touched down outside of its reach. The mere fact that it flew over it is enough for it to be able to target it. Yeah, see, when my artillery does hit, it just immediately wipes out whatever units are anywhere remotely close to it. Again, having them focus on taking out specific ones that are anti-air. Yeah, because those anti-air ones will do a lot of damage, and they'll take out my units, or my air units, real quick. Okay, start building some anti-nukes. I'll have my commander build some more artillery pieces, because I want to build as many as I can to just fire at that choke point to slow down, if not just outright kill every ground unit that tries to cross that bridge, or that land bridge. I will also have one of these dudes work on making some shields over here. I'm going to convert some mass real quick. Oh, I don't have enough to use all of them at once, so just the portion of them. There we go. Get a bit of mass built up so I can start doing this, building a bit more structures. Now I have 7 artillery units all focusing on that land bridge, and you can see all my units took out a lot of that stuff there. Real quick, I'm going to pause it because I'm forgetting some of the keybinds. Let's see. So you can obviously go into here, look at all the keybinds, which is what buttons will do what. Oh yeah, here it is. So if you hit Control A, that'll automatically select all of your air units, even the ones that are off screen. If you do Control S, that'll automatically queue up or grab or select all the naval ones, and then Control L will do all the land. Meaning when you click that, you don't have to look see where your units are, it'll just automatically grab them. You can do Control B to select all of your engineers, the ones that are doing stuff and the ones that are idle. You can do Alt period to have the game find the closest idle engineer so that you can find whatever one's closest so it doesn't take as long to get wherever you want something built. You can hit the period button to just cycle between all of your engineers. You could hit the comma button to just immediately go to where your commander is to see where it is. You can hit Control X to select all units regardless of what branch they're in. You can do Control C to select all the units that are currently on the screen. You can do Control H to select all the factories on the screen. Stuff like that. Let's see. Yeah. Anyways, so Control C does also the structures. Let's see. So I don't have any more air units. All of them were destroyed by those. So I'm going to build some more. Let's see. I am going to have another shield built right over here because they are sort of coming near that edge a lot. I will also have some more ground turrets built over here. Yeah, just the amount of shots going off from those artillery pieces gets insane. Now if I select all 11 of those and have them all shoot to the same rough area, you'll see like those units just get decimated. It basically becomes impossible for them to get any units across without using carriers to fly them across. So yeah, they were a little bit smart here. They went inside. I'm going to pause it some. So yeah, you'll see they did come smart. They are going to destroy some of my structures by doing that the way they did. I'm going to use a bunch of my research real quick. Give my engineers direct fire turrets and increase their movement speed, along with giving them shields to help increase their health and stuff. I just built up a bunch of research points right there, so I'm just going to spend a bunch of them to try to keep my engineers alive. I'll have this one just immediately focus on building or rebuilding the resource node there, and then I'll have another one come over here to focus just on building more ground defenses over here, because I need to expand the wall over this way, because obviously they went around a bit, so I need to build it up. I'll have this dude focus on building some new shield towers. And then after he's done with them, oops, didn't mean to click like that. After he's done with them, I'll have him also build some more ground defense towers. So you'll notice in the beginning the AI focused a bit on ground or aerial units, and then they went to ground units. The fact that I'm using a bunch of artillery means they might switch back to air again. I'm not sure. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. You'll also see now that I have all these structures built, I'm considered the strongest one in the match. have my engineer go over there building a bunch of structures. Uh, so I'm going to unlock the jump ability for my commander real quick. So that means he can rocket jump over to here. I'm going to have him do that real quick. I'm going to have him go over here and take out these Ubs that are just attacking my random resource nodes out here. Normally, like I said in the past, you don't want your ACU doing the fighting. They can do really good. They can be really strong, but obviously you don't want them doing that work because they're better off as builders, and you don't want them dying. But yeah, against 3 units, it's going to do good enough to kill them, and then it should be able to heal relatively effectively. There. Now I'll have my commander jump back. Now that I upgraded the range, he can go much further. I'm now going to also select all of the artillery, make sure that every single one is firing at this spot. Yeah, basically impossible for them to get their units across now. I will eventually build more artillery units to really, truly make it impossible. But yeah. Actually, as a matter of fact, for now, I'm going to have them focus on... I'm going to have them all focus on just one single enemy at the middle of this group. Once that enemy is dead, I'll have them move back to here. Because by the time that one enemy is dead, they're probably going to clear out the group for the most part. Yeah, that whole group is just immediately gone. From like one volley. The other volleys were just extras at that point. Like I said, artillery is very strong if used right. I'll add another 6 artillery pieces, make it a solid 20. I'm also going to build up as many anti-nukes as I can. I have this front one has 5, the back one has 0 right now, but it's gonna have 4. So, yeah. Currently have 48 air units, so I'm gonna have them rush over there real quick. So yeah, they are still getting some land units through because there's such a long gap between artillery barrages. But so it'll happen no matter what I do. There's going to be some amount to get through. What I could do is have some of them specifically target something else for a moment, and then have it target there again by doing... Okay, they're also building experimental lands now. You'll see it's a circle rather than a diamond. They are going to be much stronger. I'm hoping that by offsetting the targeting of those artillery pieces, it means that there'll be less time in between barrages. The barrages might be a little bit weaker individually, but by spreading it out, it's less likely to have some units squeak their way through. all the bombs being dropped right here on this group. That one anti-air unit is just immediately destroyed. Have them take out these units before they get close to my wall, because my wall is strong, but they still have a chance to punch holes through it. Experimentals are very good at getting through defenses if done right. Have all my air units rush back here for now. Have them hang back a bit. Also, by constantly having the artillery barrages here with that upgrade where I can see where the artillery barrage is, where I can see around the area where they land, it means that I can almost constantly see what units are coming through here, so I get a bit of a heads up on what I have to deal with. Build even more artillery units, because I really do not want them making it through. Here, I'm gonna have to pause it because the screen vibrating so much from it that building the units or the structures exactly where I want is getting to be a little difficult from the screen shaking. Now, admittedly, I'm using more uh, shield towers than I probably need to, just for this little area. But I like to have a little more than a little less, just because on the off chance they do get a few lucky shots through, especially without me, if I'm not looking in the area and immediately noticing, gives me a little bit of a little bit more breathing room, giving me a chance to sort of realize. I will also build a few more research stations. Not many more, because my research is coming in pretty quick with all the kills I'm getting, but it'll help. Just do a little bit more. Let's see. I will also do that upgrade so that buildings and stuff are now as cheap as they can get when it comes to building. Let's see. I will also. I think I'll start a little bit on building a little bit of a forward structure. So build that up some right there. I will build a couple more engineers, another 8, just so I can really get as much done as possible. Hold up.
Who's that?
I don't know.
They don't know. Turned everything off.
You don't see any.
Like I said, I turned everything off, so I don't know where the smoke is coming from. I see it right here.
Uh,
Like that was on the other kitchen fire before I took that noise. It would be both. I mean, I ain't never had to deal with a kitchen fire, but I always took that shit serious. Anyways, we should be good now.
okay. That's interesting. Was Brandon made some fried rice earlier. I guess one of the smoke alarms just decided to randomly go off. I guess it didn't like the after smell or something. That was a while ago that he cooked it though, so a little odd. I don't know, nothing going on down there. I got the fire extinguisher, so. And I admit, with how strong I have the artillery set up, I don't really need to build this wall of just ground defense walls or towers. But I like having like those layers, just on the off chance they somehow do or find a way to stun my stuff or my artillery pieces. I like to have like a little bit of extra protection, especially if I have the 1,000 unit cap that I have right now. It's better to go a little bit further with it. I will also add the anti-air here, just in case they start using some air units again. But I'll still have the main anti-air wall back here. I will also take these 5 and tell them to patrol. Oh, it looks like they finally got nukes. By having them patrol anything that dies in this area will get picked up. Okay, they're sending 3 nukes at once. This could be an issue. Now, nuke defense silos can shoot out multiple
nuke defense, or they can send out multiple at once. So they could potentially, depending. Hold up. What is up with that thing?
Me, it's probably acting stupid.
Keep the light off.
Keep it off.
Yeah. Well, no. Small fire, just this amount of light would block us to be able to see. I'm not saying it's setting sure, make sure to get like a new battery or something. Battery is installed. It's off, so you ain't gotta worry about this shit no more. I'm gonna keep this light on just in case we have to point back down here again. I'll turn it off later. So I can see what the hell we are. I don't give a fucking shit. Fuck you. I'm like wondering if maybe there's like monoxide or something. No, I don't know where the fuck he's coming from. All I know is it's the second time it went the fuck off. And there is nothing on. Once is nothing, twice is a coincidence, three times is a conspiracy. Exactly. It's like, what the hell? You hear? Literally, if there was anything burning, it would have been when I was cooking. I don't smell shit. And my nose is fucked up and I don't smell anything. How much you want to bet there's probably something internally going on the house? Do you smell anything? No, but at the same time, when if I get freaked out too much, my nose will start smelling whatever I think I'm supposed to be smelling.
So you have what I have.
Where if I start to panic, if I think I if I'm looking for the smell of smoke, my nose will
It'll trace it.
It'll fake the smell of smoke.
See, that's crazy. For me, if I know there isn't any smoke, and if I'm purposely smelling it, and I don't smell shit, I'll leave it at that. This one's beeping too, or this one's blinking. There it goes again.
Yeah, but
Well, it's got it.
I can do I know found the media.
It's some bullshit.
And the flashing green light just means the most common culprit is a single faulty, dirty, and interconnected system causing all others to activate. So now it's just so this one's it's not this one. Did this one just chirp?
Yeah,
I'm wondering how it's
that's all it is. Out here. That's it.
too excited to get up tomorrow.
See,
Really.
this one. I fucking knew it. It's this one. This one's faulty.
How old is it?
It's been here since the house has been here.
Because it does say they're usually supposed to be replaced like every, what was it, usually around the 10-year mark?
That motherfucker's been here since the house was built back in like 2010. So it's gone upwards about 16 years.
Yeah, so they probably all need to be replaced by now, if I had to guess.
Well, this one specifically is near the kitchen.
Yeah. Well, I have to get up early tomorrow, so I'm gonna head to bed right now. And also, the whole freaking Smoke alarms falsely going off is annoying the shit out of me and making me stressed out. I'm going to save the game and then just remind me later on, Jacob, to bring the game up again. Because I can, on PC, I can save the game. There. That'll be what I name it. By saving it, I can bring up this exact game at another date. Anyways, good night.